So, that was an interesting Nintendo Direct. Howdy folks, Super Koopa here. I wanted to talk a little bit about that. The 2023, first Nintendo Direct of 2023. I thought it was interesting. I kept my expectations rock bottom, as I tend to with most of these now. I have learned my lesson in terms of getting my hopes up, and I was pleasantly surprised by a lot of what I saw. I'll address the most obvious elephant in the room, which is we're getting Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games now, or rather we have them, and we're going to be getting more in the future. Very cool. It makes sense why they're closing the Wii U eShop in March, although I don't fully agree with that. I think that you should be able to buy these games as opposed to just buying a service to be able to play them. I've already made a video on that, my Virtual Console versus eShop video, and I've made my point very clear on that, but at least they're offering an alternative and not leaving us high and dry. I assume that we'll be getting DS games in the future, as well as potentially Wii games, at least the ones that they choose not to remake. But we are getting stuff that we had on the Wii U now. So the Wii U is becoming redundant in some ways. I still wish we could purchase stuff outright, but to say that this was inevitable is an understatement. I mean, this was guaranteed to happen, and the timing couldn't be better, because if they were going to close that thing in March and then leave us high and dry waiting for the next Direct and whoever knows when it would have been, that would have been a problem. But doing it the way that they did it and releasing those games right now is great. There's still going to be more to come. I'm hoping they add Wario Land 4 and Super Mario Land 1 and some of the other Game Boy titles and Game Boy Advance titles. The Metroid, I know Metroid Fusion is coming. Yeah, thanks Nintendo. I could have waited to do my Let's Play of Metroid Fusion when it was on the Switch. Fantastic. Maybe I'll do a live stream of it someday, see if I can do a better run on the Switch. But hey, I can at least Let's Play Metroid Zero, because I'm assuming that's coming. And then Golden Sun's coming. Yeah. There's good stuff on the way for sure. Absolutely. I 100% am excited for the future of NSO, even though I still want to be able to buy these games outright. Who knows what Nintendo will do down the line. As far as the rest of the Direct, stuff that stuck out to me. Pikmin 4 looked okay. Not a Pikmin fan, never played the games, don't hate them, just haven't played them, haven't had much interest, but Pikmin 4 looked pretty decent. I joined, when the Direct was live, I joined partway through the Pikmin 4 presentation, so I liked what I saw. I thought they were adding a lot of new fun mechanics to that looked like they would get a lot of people interested in the franchise, myself included. I might actually try it out, who knows. But that stood out to me. Another thing that stood out to me was a new Fantasy Life. I don't know if this is... I think this is a port of the sequel to Fantasy Life on phones. I could be wrong. It has I in the name, so I'm thinking it might be. Or it might be a remaster of that, or a rework of that. Either way, more Fantasy Life is great. The first Fantasy Life I have yet to beat, but I love it. I love it. It's a great little RPG life sim hybrid. It's really good. If you haven't played Fantasy Life, trust me, a lot of people are like, oh, is this an Animal Crossing ripoff? No, this game is tremendous. People have been begging for another Fantasy Life from Level 5 forever. And Level 5 came out swinging. They had a Professor Layton game. They had a port of another game. Forget its name, because I'd never really seen it before. But they came out swinging. And people thought they were dead. They were on the verge of going under, but this could... I think they're pretty much saved with all of this stuff. I mean, especially Fantasy Life is what I was looking the most forward to from them. I think that's going to be really something special. Metroid Prime Remake, or Remaster, which is technically, in many ways, a remake. I think it looks like a total remake. It really does. It looks fantastic. I'm definitely going to wait and get the physical version if I can. But, I mean, man, that looks cool. And that was all but confirmed. But they didn't just port over... They did one better. They didn't just port over the HD trilogy. You know, they could have done that. But instead, they gave us a top-down remake, or remaster, rather, excuse me. I'm going to get those twisted, of Metroid Prime. So that's good. That's really good. Other than that, not a whole lot interested me. A lot of stuff was just kind of like, you know, it's DLC. I think the theory of Nintendo padding all of their games with DLC until the Switch gets replaced, which might be soon, I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think that's what they're definitely doing. The Splatoon DLC didn't interest me in the slightest. It was predictable. I mean, we could tell just by looking around the plaza there was definitely going to be DLC. I mean, it's cool that we're getting Inkopolis, but what's the point? It's just kind of an aesthetic that you're paying for. And then the other one looks sort of like a Octo expansion type campaign that you're going to have in Wave 2. And then who knows what Wave 3, because I think there's only going to be 3 waves of it. And then we got another wave of Mario Kart DLC and Birdo, which was a huge surprise. They're actually adding a character to Mario Kart 8. I thought she was in the roster, but I guess I was confused. But that's pretty much all that stood out to me. Everything else was just kind of middling to meh. I liked some of the... They're doing some collections. That one RPG that's coming out in August looks pretty good. I think that looks solid. You know, the Etrian Odyssey collection looks good for people who are into that. I know that's kind of a niche game, but it's a dungeon crawler that a lot of people really like. So people who've had trouble getting those games are going to finally have a way to do that. These companies are starting to capitalize on their past successes, and I really like it. It's lending to a lot of positive things. You know, having them on a digital marketplace makes it easier for people to not pirate, and that's good. So I definitely agree with that. But yeah, overall it wasn't a mind-blowing direct, though. Honestly, it wasn't. I'm just surprised we got it in February. I was convinced we were going to get it in March, because I felt like March is a traditional month for that sort of thing. But Nintendo surprised us, and they did it early. But it wasn't as gargantuan as I think a lot of people made it out to be. It was a lot of stuff we already saw, and a lot of DLC. There were very few new games actually announced. And the ones that were good. A lot of them were good. Some of them that don't appeal to me, but they definitely flesh out the Switch in terms of having a wider audience. That fashion game, I think, is going to be a big hit. Really, really solid direct overall. I think a lot of people were disappointed. They were looking for... People kept screaming for Silksong in the chat. But... yeah, it is what it is. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. I'm coming up on the end here. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Super Koopa. God bless. Have a good one. Peace.